yeah, we're in Georgia today, baby. That's right, today we are taking the back roads of Georgia through farm country so I can see something I've wanted to see for a while now. We're gonna go to Jimmy Carter, President Jimmy Carter's hometown, Plains, Georgia, where he was born and raised and actually still lives there. He's in hospice, has been in hospice for over a year, but that's where he's living, and we're gonna go check out the town. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. So as we enter the town, this house right here was Rosalind Smith Carter's house. This was the Smith house, and Jimmy and Rosalind knew each other for a very long time. He actually met her when he was 3 years old and she was a baby. They have a historical plaque over here. Looks like somebody lives there because I see a package on the front step, so I'm not going to go up and look around, but they do have a nice plaque here that says Eleanor Rosalind Smith was born in Plains on August 18th, 1927 and grew up in this house. Her parents were Edgar and Allie Smith. She had 2 younger brothers and a sister, Jerry Smith, Murray Smith, and Alethea Smith Wall. Rosalind graduated from Plains High School in 1944 and earned a degree from Georgia Southwestern College in 1946. She married Jimmy Carter on July 7th, 1946. Their children are Jack, Chip, Jeff, and Amy. Jimmy Carter served as the 76th governor of Georgia from 1971 to 75, and as the 39th president of the United States from 1977 to 81. As First Lady for both her state and her nation, Rosalind was actively committed to issues affecting women and children and devoted her greatest efforts to improving mental health care. After her presidency, the Carters returned to Plains and in 1982 founded the Carter Center in Atlanta to advance human rights and alleviate human suffering. The Rosalind Carter Institute for Caregiving was established in 1987 in her honor at the alma mater in Americus to support professional and family caregivers. Yeah, this is pretty amazing. They came back here when, I guess she would have been 27 and Jimmy was 30 because his parents, well, his father died and he had to take over the farm, but he said in interviews that he didn't want to do it. He loved being in the Navy. That was always his dream. And when he told Rosalind, he basically made the decision for both of them. He said when he told her, she was not happy. And he said basically from their whole ride from New York back to Plains, she didn't talk to him, and said for about the first 6 months, she didn't really cooperate. And he said for the first year that they were here back in town, that they lived in a housing project and only made $300 that year. So they really suffered, but eventually got life on track. And right beside the house is Rosalind Smith Carter's childhood garden. Take a look at this. How cool is that? They also have a little sign here that says, "Thank you, Jimmy Carter, we love you." Some really nice flowers on the property here. So her house was actually just as I was entering town. Cool old Coca-Cola mural over here on the wall. Now it's a museum, but at the time they were growing up, this was Plains High School. So Jimmy and Rosalind both went to school here at a time where Georgia was very, very segregated. Jimmy's mom was a nurse and she was very anti-segregation, but his father was pretty much a white supremacist. Yeah, they are acknowledging him. This is a whole museum and everything, like I said, but there's some other stuff I want to see in town, so we're gonna bypass coming in here this time. Maybe we'll check it out next time. Out at this old gas station, they have a tribute to Jimmy. Smiling Peanut, which probably wouldn't be a very flattering thing for most people, but he was a peanut farmer. His family had a farm that they grew cotton and peanuts and things like that, so that's really, when he came back at the age of 30 to take over the farm, that was really what he was growing. So it says this 13-foot tall peanut was brought to Plains after a 1976 Carter presidential rally in Evansville, Indiana. Made of polyurethane foam sprayed over a series of metal hoops covered with chicken wire. That is awesome. One of the top attractions here in Plains. He said growing up, he started working in the fields and on the farm at the age of 5 years old. And he said his dad basically had an opinion of everything on the farm has to earn its keep. And so he basically had black sharecroppers that worked the farm for him. He paid him $1 a day. And Jimmy and his mom were so busy that they actually had caretakers for him. And it was a black woman named Rachel Clark that helped raise Jimmy and made him appreciate the land, which is why he was such a conservationist, and also kind of helped instill the same things that his mother did, which was that all people are created equal and deserve to be treated equal and have equal rights. When Jimmy and Mrs. Carter were growing up here, it would have been dirt roads and horses, very sparse at the time. Now over here we have found a cool old service station, which is actually Billy Carter's service station. Old 66, Phillips 66 sign. We've got the old Billy Carter service station sign over here. And it's actually pretty much right across the street from Jimmy's campaign headquarters. So I'm not sure what this building was, but the old pumps are still here. Building is still here. There's a historical plaque we'll take a look at. I love stuff like this. It says Billy Carter Service Station. In 1954, Mill Jennings, owner and operator of Standard Oil Station, sorry, I'm getting bugs eating me alive over here, purchased this building from Thad Jones and moved the building to its current site. The Plains Hotel, which had recently been torn down, previously occupied this lot. Originally, the building served as a playhouse and dance studio. In 1972, Mill Jennings sold the station to Billy Carter, brother of President Jimmy Carter. In 1976, Billy Carter's station became an important landmark in the history of Plains when Billy's station became famous nationwide as journalists covering Jimmy Carter's presidential campaign made it their headquarters. In 2008, the Plains Better Hometown program acquired the building and opened it as the Billy Carter Museum. But see, there's another station sign here. But there's a headquarters right over there as well we'll check out. They actually keep it open. That's really cool that you can come in and explore it yourself. Crazy amount of bugs flying around today, but you can see Billy Carter. He basically, Jimmy would have like all of his relatives go out and campaign for him. That was part of his secret to getting elected and things like that. Billy Carter. Peanut Olympics. There's Billy and Jimmy together. And that shirt that Billy's wearing right there, they actually have here on display. And it looks like they also have a little letter that Billy wrote to Jimmy when they were kids on Carter stationery. So here in this case, they have some really cool old clothes of Billy's. Look at that. And here's that shirt that he was wearing in the photo that I just showed you. Plains Pounder. Maybe he was a boxer. It's got the hat that he's wearing, that cowboy hat up there in that picture. They have that here on display as well down here. And then this looks like he wore it on Hee Haw. It's definitely a Hee Haw set of overalls. They have a photo of him. It looks like he did wear it indeed on an episode of Hee Haw with a Goober. Looks like he's up there with Goober, George Lindsay. And they literally have the history of the entire service station. So we'll go look around town. Should be fun. Jimmy did say it bothered him a lot that when he first took office, people really didn't know that much about him. They just made all these satirical cartoons basically making him look like an idiot. There's Billy. Grand Ole Opry. Look at that. There's some Billy beer. So now we're gonna go look around town, look over at that building that said headquarters over there, and then I know the old general store over here sells nothing but political stuff and Carter stuff. And there was an old, probably 10 years ago or so, because I think he was saying he was 90 at the time. I remember seeing a video of him being interviewed walking down that sidewalk over there, so I definitely want to see that. Over here's the old pharmacy, and you can see they have a mural on the entire wall showing things that relate to him, and it said if these sidewalks could talk. So we'll try and hit most of these. So the high school we've seen, and the service station we've seen. We'll definitely go out to the Boyhood home, which is outside of town. Plains, peanuts, and a president. And then over here it has the depot, which was his presidential campaign headquarters. Okay, that answers that. We can see the presidential campaign headquarters because it's right here. Love the color this time of the year. All the flowers and everything are blooming, the trees. Here it is. This is the old depot. He said it wasn't until he became governor, about a year into being governor, he decided secretly that he wanted to run for president. So about 1971. 72, something like that. There's stuff inside, but I'm not sure where we enter. We'll find out, huh? It's pretty cool to grow up in this town and then have a history throughout your life here forever, including ran your political campaign out of here. He always valued, his big thing was education, human rights, and he said he feels, and he said every president he'd talked to regarding this, he felt shared the same feeling he did, which is that each president should only be allowed to be president one time, but for 6 years. So this tells a bunch of history. His history in the community, how he ran his campaigns for governor, senate. He started out, if I'm not mistaken, started out on the school board and then ended up basically, oh that's cool, they use local wood and everything. He said that he basically did that and then ran for Senate. All right. I know there's some more stuff in here. Oh, that's cool. They have like an old TV you can watch his campaign ads and stuff on. Nice experience.
I remember when I announced for president in December of 1974.
And to my knowledge, he still lives here. Like I said, he's in hospice, but as of the filming of this, there he is, a young man. But he said he knew from the time he was 5 years old, his goal in life was to be in the Navy, because his mother's brother was someone he idolized, and he was a sailor. Plus, he said it was growing up in the Depression. When that hit, he knew that there was no way he could ever afford to go to college. Nobody in his dad's side of the family had ever went to college. In fact, his dad, nobody ever graduated high school. So Jimmy said he just set his sights on Annapolis. He wanted to go to the U.S. Naval Academy and ended up going there. So those best years of his life was being in the Navy. He really, really loved it. And that was actually when he came home on a trip from the Navy that he asked Rosalind to marry him. And this says, behind this door is the reason that this building alone was chosen to be the campaign headquarters. It's because, so the depot was the only available building in Plains at the time that had bathrooms. Now that's small town, baby. I love it. I love that kind of stuff. He was not obviously considered a great president, but he said he always slept well at night because he always tried his best. He never felt like he ever lied to anybody, and he just really had a bad economic time, like with the fuel embargo and all that stuff, the lines, people went to get gas, and then the Iran-Contra and everything. There's just, there he is right here. And it says here, on June 8th, 1976, the Ohio primary was held. When Carter returned home to Plains in the early morning hours of June 9th, he had a message to call George Wallace. During the telephone call, Carter was placed from the depot here. This is where he called it. He was told that he had the delegates and the support to run for president from the Democratic Party. So that photo that we just saw of Jimmy would have been taken right there. He had been standing right there. And I saw a documentary where he was saying, you know, people here just call me Jimmy. They don't call me Mr. President or Mr. Carter. They can just call me Jimmy. So if you see me in Plains, just call me Jimmy. Coming over to this side, they actually have a plaque I didn't see, and it says, from this depot in 1975, Jimmy Carter Jr. launched a 2-year campaign for the presidency of the United States. At first an unknown, referred to as Jimmy Who, Carter was inaugurated as America's 39th president on January 20th, 1977. They have a garden over here dedicated to the First Lady. And it's interesting, apparently there was a depot dog that hung around the depot, and this is his grave. J. Who. And then from here, right across the street, is Billy Carter service station, but they also have kind of a memorial to Jimmy Carter right there we'll check out. So this is kind of neat. It says, Plains honors her own Jimmy Carter, 39th President, the United States of America from 1977 to 1981. And then down at the bottom it says, Plains thanks Willie Nelson for his contribution. Remember that old story of, I don't know if you ever heard it, but story that Willie smoked a joint on the roof of the White House with Jimmy Carter's son. So over here it has his accomplishments. Over here it says Sumter County School Board from 55 to 62, then member of Georgia Senate, then governor of Georgia, and then president of the United States. That was his path. And they have a couple of his quotes over here. It says, America did not invent human rights invented America. And then the other quote says, the greatest legacy we can leave our children is a world of peace. Peace is my passion. Yeah, and he, you can add, won the Nobel Peace Prize, as well as all the great work he's done with Habitat for Humanity, where actually has helped people have homes that couldn't afford homes. And he said what they do is they mandate that they volunteer 500 hours if they receive a home, and they have to pay a monthly payment, and that payment goes to getting other people homes. And he said, and the good thing about that is hopefully if you were down on your luck after 500 hours of donating your time to building houses, you should be able to be a carpenter. And he and his wife also would travel to some 80 countries throughout their life, helping spread money and teaching people in impoverished nations on how to farm so that they can farm their own land and grow their own food. Welcome to Plains, home of the 39th president. And this place that this is out in front of is actually called Friends of Jimmy Carter, and they have birthday wish signs in their window from previous years as well as this year. So currently he is on his way to 100, October 1st. So here's their little downtown area, and these old stores are the ones that I told you about that I saw Jimmy walking by in his interview. Each business now has a plaque telling what it was historically. He's actually walking right down here.
Yeah, but folks in Plains, you know, they don't ever think about calling me anything except Jimmy and Rose.
Some of them call you Mr. Jimmy.
And since of course, you know, they're gonna have a ton of souvenir stores here, but since he's giving an interview, they kind of follow him like this, so you end up seeing.
If they are Baptist, they probably call me Brother Jimmy.
Of course, he is former President Jimmy Carter.
His interview walking, and the president would be over here. This takes you to Bobby Salter's famous peanut butter ice cream. And this is the old Carter peanut warehouse. Earl Carter owned and operated a peanut business and the Earl Carter Insurance Agency. It says that Jimmy Carter returned home from the Navy to run the peanut warehouse at this location until 1961. And from this building, President Carter launched his senatorial and gubernatorial campaigns. Oh, we gotta go and look around then, don't we?
Kathy is the teacher. She was paying for the ice cream out of the
A little fun pick opportunity. We have a peanut with him painted on it, as well as him out there working on the peanut farm. Alright, let's go on in. Thank you! Peanut butter ice cream sample right away.
And deep fried salted peanuts.
Oh, I'll take one. Oh man, that ice cream is amazing. Woo! So is this. Look, they turned it into souvenir shop / snack shop. And of course, tons and tons of books by Jimmy. I think he wrote like 25 books, no joke.
Is that Jimmy?
Nice.
No, that's not Jimmy Carter.
Crazy to think of him working here, huh? Here they sell Billy beer cans. Remember, like we saw the case in there.
Yeah, wait on that.
These are all photos of when Paula Deen visited. More Jimmy Carter books, photos and things like that you can buy. And we'll go to the place next door. They have a ton of stuff too. Now let's go in the political store and see all the old buttons and things they have at Jimmy, which I believe is right here at the trading post. So it's actually this one with the peanut in front. Oh yeah, look at that right away.
Hello.
Hello.
We are the largest retail political dealer in the United States. Starting with Lincoln and going up, everything is original. And our favorite candidate is whoever you like.
Good answer.
It still doesn't work.
So your neighbor told you that before 4:30. You got good neighbors.
Look at the walls.
We have
Wow.
been interviewed by everything from Al Jazeera to the London Times.
Wow. You got a really cool place here.
Where are you from?
From Ohio, Dayton, Ohio.
What do you do?
You're looking at it. This is really cool. They actually have an entire rack of signed books, and they're all basically $39.99, $40. You can get everything from books about his life. I know he mentioned that he kept a ton of notes when he was president, and then when he didn't get reelected, he found out he was $1 million in debt, so he turned those into a book and paid off his debts. But he also did children's books, like you can see right here. Yep, there they are signed. I think I'm gonna buy this one. And Mrs. Carter's books are signed up here for the same price. Wonder if they have anything for the Peanut Brigade.
You want something really cool to film?
Yeah.
Come over here.
Oh, wow. Abraham Lincoln Rail Splitter Campaign Token. And a Memorial Lincoln Funeral.
And then look at the second shelf from the top on the first row. And you'll see Millard Fillmore, which is even older. First row, second shelf from the top.
Well, I saw he had JR over here. I was wondering if we ever figured out who shot him. Millard Fillmore right there.
You knew.
Look at all this stuff you can still buy. Pretty much anything, any of the buttons that ever came out.
What do you call 12 grade
Oh yeah, I remember when Jesse Jackson was running for president. FDR. Jimmy said his favorite president was actually Truman. All right, now we're going about 2.5 miles outside of town to Jimmy's boyhood home. So I'm pretty sure this is where the president lives now, behind this gate. The reason I think that is because obviously when I drove by I noticed it was all gated up and looks like a security outpost over there. But I saw this and I said, you know, they probably would have put this here if this was something to do with the family. And there is a plaque down here, so let's see. Let's see if this is indeed the family grounds or what this is. National Historic Site. Oh, so this is, yeah, this is their house. When he retired and they came out here, all the people that worked for him in the White House took up a collection and they bought him a woodworking room. Fully furnished woodwork area. So that's what that is. Huh. I don't think you can see the house. Unless that's it over there. Let me look around. So this map kind of shows everything, and it shows that we're right here looking in, and the house is actually down this road and right over here. So basically, like, it would be right back there. It says the compound is 12 acres, known as the compound. So that explains all the fencing and all that. But I actually wanted to go out to his boyhood home and just found this along the way, so it's really cool. At least we can see what it looks like if we can't get back to it. And we'll go out and see his boyhood home. So he would be there now. Like I said, he's been in hospice for like 1.5 years now, I want to say. And of course they have her beautiful flowers out here that she loves. So this is the way that he enters and leaves all the time, and his retirement home's right back there. It's kind of funny because that's about the only thing I hadn't looked up yet was where he lived now. And as I drove past, I said, you know what, that has to be it. That has to be.